Hi everybody, it's Dave here from Plymouth and Dartmouth Marine. Today we're going to take a look at the all-new Beneteau Antares 9 version 2. This particular boat is actually the very first new model of the Antares 9 version 2 in the UK, and it's currently on display here at our Plymouth showroom. We're going to wander through the boat, show you what makes this such a versatile weekender and also why it's such good value for money. Now, the new Beneteau Antares 9 version 2 comes in a choice of two hull colours. Now this one, as you can see, which is in our stock in Plymouth, this comes in the fantastic pearl grey hull, and it also then comes in standard all white. We decided to take this one in stock into the pearl grey, and actually it is stunning. It looks really, really good, really classy, and it stands out. The other thing that you'll notice as well is, whilst we're here, is we'll talk a little bit about the hull shape and how this boat is so clever in terms of the amount of accommodation that it gets on board, something which is only essentially 8.23 metres in length in terms of hull length. Overall, it's just over 9 metres because you take into account the stern bathing platform and also the up to the bow anchor. But in terms of hull length, 27 foot, there's a huge amount of accommodation which gets crammed into that 27 feet. And how they do that is, if you look at the hull, it's quite voluminous as it comes towards the bow. So that volume continues quite a long way forward, and that allows a lot of room then inside that forward master cabin, and also inside the guest cabin as well, and also the rest of the accommodation on board. Now you'd think that obviously with the boat carrying a lot of that volume towards the bow, that she's not going to handle that great. Now we took this boat out on sea trial a couple of times. We've actually motored it back from Southampton as well because it was on display at the Southampton Boat Show for the first one in the UK. And we also took clients out on it recently, and this boat is now a sold boat as a result of that sea trial. So we went out into some rough conditions, and the client was really impressed with the performance and the handling of the boat in such a rough sea state of conditions. It was a soft ride, it was really smooth, it was quiet, very little vibration or rattling on board, and it really surprised us. So it was a fantastic performance, and also performs really well in flat conditions. But we'll talk a little bit more about the performance a bit later on once we step on board. Now as we step on board at the stern, you've got these large bathing platforms, both the port and starboard side. And that's, as I said, when the boat's measured, it's measured to the end of that stern bathing platform all the way up to the bow. But obviously in terms of hull length, as I said, it's measured from the start of the bathing platform, which makes it 8.23 metres. As we step on board, you'll first notice the fantastic teak floor, which runs all the way up the starboard side, all the way onto the foredeck, and also into the cockpit area. And you'll also notice, as we step in, the new upgraded upholstery, which is really light, really comfortable, plenty of padding. And as you can see here, we've got that fantastic U-shaped seating with the help of obviously this back-to-bay bench, which is actually an option. So we spec that on board this boat. So normally it would be just an L-shaped sofa, but obviously by speccing the back-to-bay window seat here, one, it adds additional storage underneath there, which is good, and also gives you a nice place to sit and dine around this table here, which is then a nice large table for you to sit and dine of an evening around this area. Again, this table doesn't always necessarily have to be here, and you can take that one out, and the table it has its own dedicated storage area in behind here, behind the sliding patio doors, and it gets secured into there, and then the leg gets secured in underneath this aft bench. So in terms of accommodation in the cockpit area, it's really light, nice and bright, lots of seating, and also one of the main differences again between this and the previous Antares 9 is the size of the cockpit roof. So the extension of the cockpit roof, this comes much further back aft, and that provides a lot more protection inside the cockpit area. Obviously we don't have the aft canopy up, but obviously it also has an aft canopy which sits into the rails on the top here and comes all the way around, and then will come all the way around behind the seat here. So this will be fully enclosed. So again, if you get those, as we're into November now, these colder days, but you still want to get out and on board the boat, if you get that nice calm day, and you want to also extend the space from your saloon out into the cockpit, and you can have your diesel heater on, it just makes it a lot cozier and a bit more of a useful space as well in all conditions. So again, by having that extended cockpit roof, it's fantastic. The other option you've also got as well, so we've got lights here on the top, and obviously you can roll your canopies up and they'll store nicely out of the way up here as well. We've got some lights here, cockpit lights, and also another option that you can spec from the factory, instead of having this solid roof, so this is a solid roof, you can also then have a material sliding roof. So if you wanted to have a bit of sunlight that comes into the cockpit area as well, you will still get sunlight, but if you want a bit more exposure to the sun, and also the option to shut it off, you can have a material sliding roof on there as well. Now on this one it doesn't, and this customer, the customer's actually buying this boat. He's actually speccing the solar panels now, obviously on top of this, because you've got that solid roof, you've got a very large area of space there for you to be able to mount some solar panels on the top. Obviously in here, we'll show you a little bit more underneath the deck hatch in a second. So we'll lift that area up, we'll remove the table so you can have a look inside there. And again, you can notice the tracks. So again, this seat here, which again we'll show you later on, this seat will slide forward. So when you're on your marina berth and you've berthed back up and you want to pack it away, then obviously this will slide forward to allow you then to gain space for you to trim your engines fully out of the water. There is also the option to have a sun deck area in here as well. So once that table comes out, there also is a framed area which will sit into here. So that will become a full sun pad area if you did want to sit out in the sun on the aft deck. Now, as we come around onto the starboard side, obviously you've got some cup holders here on the rear seat, and then also you've got this stern gate, which is fantastic. So it provides a lot of security and safety. So if you've got young children on board, and or if you've got a dog and you want to make sure that they are safe on board, you've got nice high gunnels along here, and also all the way as you go up towards the foredeck, and also a nice security safety gate there, so you can obviously keep the young ones on board nice and safe. You've also got a stern shower here, so hot and cold shower in there, so that will come out. And also you've got a hook up there, it's like a deck wash, so we've got a hose on board the boat as well, so you can plug that in, and then obviously you can wash the deck down as well. Again, on the starboard side, you've also got the side gate. The side gate is obviously a fantastic option. That comes as standard, but obviously that is a great addition, so that if you are berthed, obviously starboard side too, which you'd want to on this boat, then it gives you again great access on and off the pontoon through that side gate. Although you can also exit on and off via the nice large swim platform at the stern as well. So we'll just shut that one back up. You've got deck lights all the way, which run all the way around the boat, all the way up along the sidewalk, and also underneath, so you can actually, it will light up the deck nicely at night. Now, again, one of the main things on this boat is it's asymmetric. So again, the cabin is offset slightly to port, so that gives you that nice wide walk around on the starboard side, and a narrower walk around, although it is still doable to walk up and down the port side. Slightly narrow on that side. And again, the reason for doing that, rather than making it central, if this was central, then obviously it would decrease the space within inside the saloon and also the rest of the accommodation on board. So again, it does help having that asymmetric style, which is again typical of the Beneteau Antares range, which gives you that a lot more space internally on board the boat. So again, you've got storage underneath that seat there, and again you've also got storage underneath this seat. But but we'll show you just underside there, so you can have a little look and to see the space and access under the deck. So as we stand in the cockpit, you've got a little bit of storage underneath this area here, so you want to put fenders underneath there if you wanted to. You also have, again, storage underneath this back to bay seat, so if you want to put some warps or anything else under there. And then underneath this rear bench, so obviously now we've got rid of the table, underneath this rear bench, again, you've got a large storage underneath there, and also that is where the table leg for the cockpit table here is stowed nice and neatly into its own little holder in there, so you've got plenty of storage inside there. And underneath here, we've then also got the access to, again, a huge amount of storage in this compartment here. So we'll just open this one so you can have a little look inside there. So again, inside here, there's a vast amount of storage inside there. Again, you've got the covers there for the aft enclosure. So that's in there as well at the moment. And again, obviously you've got access as well to seacocks, and also in terms of top of the fuel tanks. Obviously you've got the twin fuel tanks on board this boat. And obviously also you've got access to the batteries as well at the very bottom there. So as we step into the saloon of the new Antares 9 version 2, it does follow a lot of very similar elements to the 11 and the 12 in terms of the actual layout, the design. So very similar in the respect of the 11 and 12 has a nice long extension to the cockpit roof. Now the 9, it does exactly the same. And also in terms of the layout and style inside the 9, again, it follows the same theme as the 11 and 12 in terms of style and also functionality. So one of the first things you notice when you first step into this actual saloon is just how light an area is, and how it does that is obviously a number of reasons. One is the huge windows in terms of the windscreen, the side windows, both port and starboard side, and also combined with the aft patio sliding doors, whether you've got them open or whether you've got them closed, it does mean that it floods a lot of light into this area. And also, not only that, it then provides you with 360-degree visibility from the helm position. So in terms of as a skipper, when you're helming the boat, it makes it a lot easier in terms of manoeuvring the boat, having that visibility to be able to see what's around you when you're coming into berth, or if you're underway at speed, and you've got good visibility as well all the way around. Also, another thing in terms of what it does to generate some of that light as well, and how it does that quite cleverly, is not only just some of the downlights, but also some of these cleverly put in the LED lights that are sunk into the ceiling there. And also you then got some of the nice discrete LED lighting which then runs underneath the galley there. It just all adds to the finish and the style of this saloon. So again, on the port side, you've got a nice little diner area here. So this will quite comfortably sit 4 people in and around this area. So you've got this rear seat here, which is forward facing. And then you've also then got that forward seat there, which again will also seat 2, which is rear facing. So you can sit around this nice table, which you can then obviously open up both sides to make it a nice large dining table. You can also, as well as an option, which this boat also has, this table then lowers down and then sits, and we'll show you some pictures of that later on. We'll actually lower down and then sit into here, and then you can actually make that into an additional berth there if you've got young children on board. So not only will you have the main master cabin, which will obviously berth 2, and then the guest cabin, which will also berth 2, you've then also got the option of berthing an additional 2 people up here as well, if you go for the option of the additional berth insets of cushions that sit into here on top of the table support. The other thing as well, which we'll show you, is this seat here. If we move that one. So again, if you are underway You can also, this seat will flip back. Again, another rock and roll seat, which will flip back nice and easily. So I'm doing that one-handed. And that provides a nice large co-pilot seat there, which again will sit too comfortably, and again provides a fantastic view when you're sat in that position, all the way out through the front screen, and just a great position to sit when you're underway. And again, it also means you can sit and chat to the helm, and also it means you've got two people sitting forward in a position there, and then you've also got two people in a forward-facing position on this this forward-facing seat here, and obviously the skipper. So you've actually got 5 people in a seat facing forward, and then also, again, not only that, you can then also sit people out in the cockpit as well, nice and safely out there in a forward-facing position as well. So as we come around then towards the helm position, so again, the helm is, in terms of the actual helm itself, it's not a massive helm, but it's actually nice and compact, and you've got everything to hand. So on this particular one, we've got obviously the bow thruster over here, you've got your wipers, you've obviously got your lighting switches, access to turn your windlass on and off, and again obviously you operate the windlass on this one from the bow, but this one we are going to add the additional windlass remote to it for the customer. And also this one has been spec'd with the 9-inch Garmin plotter, although you can obviously opt for a larger 12-inch. Now the customer who's buying this boat, we're actually upgrading it to the larger 12-inch display, because he also wants to have the camera, reversing camera, which we can also put on top of the very back of the roof there, so you can see your engines, because from the helm position, that's the only thing, is you can't quite see the engines which are in behind that rear bench seat. So by having that rear camera really does help when you're coming into berth, if you're having to berth stern in. You've also got your Lenco trim tabs up here. This one here is your Mercury display, so that is going to give you all your engine information, although again we can relay some of the engine information as well onto the Garmin, so you can split your Garmin in terms of a plotter, sounder, and also you can have your engine instrumentation as well at the same time, or you can look at it separately. And again on here, this will give you a lot more information on there as well to access. This particular boat obviously is a twin engine. This one is powered by twin 200 Mercury V6 engines, hence obviously the twin remotes. It also has lots of different features on it. This one's also got what they call active trim, so that means the engine will actually trim automatically when you're underway. As the speed of the boat changes and the revs change, the engines will trim automatically, so that the boat can find its best planing position as you're underway. You've also then got a little charging port there for your phone, so a little wireless charging port there for you to pop on there, and you've also then got a compass on the top. And then if we look just above, on the starboard side, above the helm position, you've then got your there's a Fusion music system here, and then you've then got a Garmin VHF radio on there as well. In terms of the helm seat, you've got a nice, big, real well padded helm seat, and you've got this nice bolster, so if you want to sit a little bit higher with a little footrest down here as well, so you can rest your feet there. But if you want to get that little bit better visibility, you can either sit on that bolster, or you can drop that bolster down, and then it gives you a nice bit of leg support. If you're underway, it sort of slow speeds up the river. Or if you want to stand up at speed, then obviously you can then just lift that bolster up, and then obviously you can stand in here. Some people quite like to stand when they're underway at speed as well, particularly if it's rough conditions. But yeah, real comfy seat. And then obviously with that bolster up out of the way, it then means you've then got fantastic exit and entry through this large helm door. So the benefit of that is it means that you're not having to exit from the boat to get your line on out through the aft sliding doors, but you can actually exit nice and quickly out through this helm door here, so that you can then very easily get a midship cleat on there once you get berthed on, particularly if you want to single hand this boat, which is very easy to do. You can obviously then get on there very easily to get that midship rope on before you then pop up and get your bow and your stern line on. And again, you've got that nice wide access up to the foredeck, so you've got plenty of space there as well. So here we are at the galley. So at the galley, obviously you've got a stainless sink. So again, hot and cold water there. You've got 3 large cup holders there as well, just beside the sink. You've then got a 2 hob gas burner. One of the things that obviously some people worry about is obviously the fact that the curtains here are a little bit too close, but you can obviously detach it from here, and then whilst you're cooking you can slide those curtains well out of the way, so it makes it a nice and safe space here now with no curtains in this area. So a two hob burner there, which you've got. You've then also got down here in this large storage cupboard, you've then got a large fridge and also a little freezer drawer compartment as well on the top. So it's quite a decent fridge size that. You get a lot of stuff in there plenty enough for the weekend, a long weekend. Down in this cupboard, you've then also got another storage or access to a bin, which is just in there. And then you've also got down in these two, you've then got a 2 drawers, and again another drawer at the bottom, all soft closing. And you can have the option of also fitting a microwave. So if you don't want that bottom rear drawer, for example, you can also swap that out and you can put a microwave in there as well. So in terms of, again, galley area, it's a nice little bit of space, plenty for general weekenders. If you're going to take the boat away for the weekend, plenty for you to be able to cook and keep food on board nice and fresh. But yeah, nice space. Now we'll head downstairs into the accommodation towards the 2 bedrooms and the heads. Now as we first make our way into this forward-facing cabin, this is the master cabin. And one of the first things you notice is that, as we spoke about earlier, because of the hull shape and obviously because it's asymmetric, it means that they've been able to squeeze a lot of luxury and a lot of space into what is actually only like a 27-foot boat, and it is amazing how they do it. So inside this forward cabin, it's lovely and light and airy. So you've got the nice large windows on both the port and the starboard side. You've also then got the roof hatch, which is up there, which has currently got the shade pulled across for obviously privacy. And then obviously you've got your curtains that will then run across the windows across there, so you can completely enclose it in. But again, you've got these fantastic sunken LED roof lights in, as well as your down lights, and also you've got your reading lights on both sides over there as well, and some of the discrete lighting in down here underneath by the curtains. You've also got fantastic storage inside this room, both on the port side and the starboard side. You've got these lovely, they're really deep, so really deep storage cupboards in there, so for your clothes. And again, so that's on both the port and the starboard side. You've also then got on this port side a nice large hanging wardrobe, which again is great to see on a boat. A lot of them just have the shelves, so you've got your nice big cupboards up there for your shelves, and again you've got some nice hanging space in there. Obviously you've got power outlets down there, and the same on the starboard side. You've got some power outlets. You've also got the option in here to have a television fitted. This one doesn't have it installed on this one, but you've got the option. And then also underneath this bed, there again is some fantastic storage underneath here. So it's literally just lift up one-handed, and it's on rams. And again, you've got a huge space of storage and stuff in there. So in there currently we've just got the manuals and stuff for the Garmin units. There's obviously the hose in there for the wash down on the aft deck. Some additional curtains which have got to go up yet, and there's also some covers in there as well for the forward sunbed, so you don't have to keep taking your cushions on and off if you're just going to be using it over the weekend, but you want to cover them at the night. Then obviously you can put your forward cushions on, and again you've got access to your lights over on that side as well as when you come in through the door. So in terms of a master cabin, it's really spacious, nice and light and airy. When you come into the room, you've got room. You don't come right up to the bed. You've still got room as you step into the room before you come up to the bed. So yeah, it's a lot of space again in what is a 27-foot boat. So as we come out of the master cabin, we'll then make our way around into the guest cabin, which is on the port side. So as you come into the port cabin over this side, again you've got the first thing you notice is you've got a nice bit of storage in there. Again, hanging storage, little shelf there on the top. You've then got obviously your power outlet, a little space to sit if you want to put your shoes and your socks on. And then again in here, a nice light guest cabin, obviously a bit smaller because this is obviously underneath the actual saloon itself. But again, it provides a nice decent sized space for, again, a full double bed for 2 people to sleep at night. Again, you've got a heater outlet over there on that side. So again, this has got a diesel heater on board this boat. And again, access to the lights here. You've got, again, little reading lights. And the other thing as well is up above, you've also got this panel here, this glass panel, which also feeds loads of light in as well. So it keeps it nice and airy, but obviously you can shut that off and shut your curtains and stuff off in here as well to make it nice and private. So again, a nice size guest cabin. And then as we come out of there and then we head around onto the starboard side, this is where obviously you've then got access to the heads. And again, as a head, you've got plenty of space. I can stand, I'm 5'10", and I can stand up in here fully, and I've still got headroom when I'm actually inside there. So you've got plenty of space. Freshwater toilet, which is always nice as well. So again, you have not got the smells when you've got from saltwater toilet. It's a nice freshwater toilet, which is good. You've obviously got your sink, and also this doubles as a wet room as well. So obviously you can use from here, this is then also the shower, which you then obviously if you want to have a warm shower inside, then you can obviously do that inside there as well. So again, nice bit of LED lighting across the top there. Again, you can access your lights on and off from here. And then again, there's a nice big mirror there as well. And you've obviously got storage underneath the sink. And obviously behind this mirror, that also then gives you access in behind the dash in terms of the wiring for the electronics and everything else. So you've got a good amount of access in there as well. So in terms of accommodation, again, as we said earlier, it is amazing just how much sort of big boat luxury they managed to squeeze into such a small boat, 27 foot. So it is really, really clever. And as we head back up into the saloon, one of the things that we didn't mention earlier is obviously your nice little roof hatch that will slide backwards. So again, that also feeds a lot of light into there as well. And obviously also on the port side, that is a sliding window there, so that will fully retract back as well and slide back. So again, you can let air in through there, all through the roof, or also from the starboard helm door. So overall, it's a fantastic bit of space to be in, whether it's during the summer or whether it's during those colder winter months and you want to put your diesel heater on. It's a nice light space to sit in. Your diesel heater control is over in that corner over there. So you've got outlets in here. There's one just down here. You've also got one in the heads, one in the guest cabin, and also one in the forward cabin as well. But it just means that you can actually sit in here, and it also, even with your aft canopy up, so you can put your aft canopy up all the way around the back there and enclose that whole area. It just means that it'll extend this saloon by quite a bit, and as an entertaining space, it's a fantastic bit of room for you to spend as a family for that perfect weekend on board, or even longer. So now we'll make our way out as we come out through the helm door, and then we'll make our way up towards the foredeck. So as we mentioned earlier, one of the great things about this is a family boat, particularly if you've got youngsters or if you have a pet on board. You've got these lovely high gunnels, nice bit of freeboard. So again, that's up just short of my hip. And then as you make your way up the step here as you go towards the foredeck, you've obviously got this nice pulpit rail here as well, which also comes with you to again also add a little bit of security in terms of safety as you make your way forward towards the foredeck. So when you step up on this sidewalk, again, being an asymmetric cabin, it just means again you've got that wider step through. So I've got loads of space stood here on this side deck here, and I can easily walk. I don't have to slide sideways as I make my way up. And as we come here, again, you've got your midship cleat, and then as you step up, again towards the foredeck. This pulpit rail then comes with you. So again, provides a nice bit of security as you come towards the bow. And then as you make your way forward, again, you've got bow cleats on both the port and starboard side. And then you're then greeted by this fantastic bit of foredeck space, which you've got your sunbed sort of laid out on. You've also got these little backrests that will either lay down flat like this one, or it will actually retract up so you can lay back on it. And then also there is an additional cushion which sits in behind here along the windscreen. So when you are laid out flat and back, you can also lean up against here as well. So there's a nice little Beneteau cushion which also sits in there as well. Obviously that's the roof hatch there, and also a point of exit in terms of emergency exit from the forward cabin. And as we look around, you can, as you can see, you can obviously see the teak deck, which runs all the way around from the starboard side all the way to the foredeck, and then all the way around as it comes around to the port side. So on here you've got a quick windlass. So in terms of anchoring, and then inside your anchor hatch, you've then also got the windlass remote, which is just here. So you've got that windlass remote. As I said, you can also have the option of having a complete wireless remote, which you can have up at the helm, and then you can obviously put it on a lanyard, put it around your neck, and then you can control your anchor on the remote. And also on the same remote, you can also then pair that with the bow thruster, and you can also operate your bow thruster also on the same remote, which means that when you've then got that midship cleat on, when you come into berth, if you're single handing, you've got that midship cleat on over there. It then means as you make your way forward from the helm position, obviously the engine's still running, but it just means that if the bow is then being blown off and you're up here trying to get your bow line on, you can then, with your windlass remote, you can then just try and, with your windlass and your bow thruster remote, you can then just bring the bow in to get that line on. Then as we then make our way around over to the port side, again, this is the narrower side in terms of entry and exit, but you can obviously walk down this side. Obviously this boat you're going to look to berth on the starboard side, but you can walk down this side to get access again down there. In terms of engine options on the Antares 9, you've got the two choices. The two choices are the Mercury Twin 200 V6 outboards, or the Mercury Twin 250 V8s. With obviously the Twin 250s, you can also then have the option of the JPO, the joystick controls as well if you wish. On this particular boat, because it's really manoeuvrable anyway, just with the twin engines and also with the bow thruster, we've gone with the Twin 200s and the Twin V6s on this particular model. In terms of performance, this boat has twin 300 litre fuel tanks on board. And we've actually run this boat from Southampton Boat Show back to Plymouth, which is roughly 113 nautical miles. And we still had a bunch load of fuel left from that trip, and that was cruising back at sort of 25 knots. This boat will, with the Twin 200s on, have a top speed of approximately 35 knots and a cruising speed of anywhere sort of between 25 to 28. She'll cruise quite happily. You can also go a little bit slower than that if you wish, but 25 to 28, 29, that's probably where she's at her most economical running. So in terms of fuel economy on this, with the twin 300 litre fuel tanks, approximately you could, about 25 knots, you could get an estimated distance of around 200 nautical miles. So to put that into perspective, that is essentially travelling from here, from Plymouth to the Channel Islands and back, or from Southampton down to the Isles of Scilly. Again, obviously those fuel figures will vary depending on sea state and tides and everything else. But in terms of fuel economy, really, really good. And as I said, the best fuel economy is around the sort of 25 to 29 knots. With the combination of its twin 300 litre fuel tanks and the 160 litre freshwater tank on board, plus all the rest of the accommodation, this really does allow you to explore that a little bit further and not just use it as a weekender. In terms of carrying capacity, for Category C, this boat will have a carrying capacity of 10, and for category B, a carrying capacity of 6. It truly is a very capable boat. We've used this boat in some rough conditions and it really does perform well. If you'd like more information on this particular model or would like to arrange a sea trial, feel free to give us a call 01752 407070.